Okay, hi guys, welcome here back to Cango Wildlife Ranch for the second live stream of day 4 of our After Dark event. Hi Tammy, Marianne, thanks for joining us guys. So we're here with our Pygmy Hippos, alright, Herbie mainly on this side and Hilda is on the other side of the dam, alright, she's in the water as well. So yeah, welcome. Hello Ryan, thanks for joining again. Another one of our regulars watching the live streams. Hope you guys are enjoying them. Okay, so we just wait for a few more people to join and then I will get started with some info about these guys. One of my favorite animals on the ranch as a species, and I'll explain as well why I say that. Okay, so we'll just wait for a few more. Hi Dad. So yeah, you guys can just say hi, whoever's joining and watching. So I can give you guys a shout out. And also again, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. For those that missed our earlier streams, hope you guys had an awesome day. Alright, so far today it's actually pretty warm outside. The temperature's just started to drop now in the last half an hour or so, but it's still very comfortable. Hello Tanya. Alright, okay guys, so I think I'm going to get started. Like I said, I'll be talking about the Pygmy Hippos tonight. So Herbie is on screen, our boy. He's not a youngster anymore, he is 30 years old. He's turning 30 this year. And then Hilda, our female, who's on the other side of the dam, she is 31. Alright. Tell me, I'm not sure what the temperature is now, but it is warm. I'll have a look a little bit later what the temperature is. Hi Karina, Nicole, hello. Stanton, hello. Roxana, thanks for joining again. Alright, so yeah, like I said, Herbie and Hilda. Herbie's 31, 30, Hilda is 31. Alright, so they're not youngsters anymore, but they're also not old. So your average lifespan in captivity is around your mid-30s, mid to late 30s to your mid-40s. So say yeah, around 35 to around 47. Those are really good ages for Pygmy Hippos. The oldest one on record, he was 50 years old when he passed away. All right, so quite an old guy. So Herbie's been out and about tonight. He was curious as to why I am here this time of the night. Not used to us being around this time of the night, obviously. But he's been up and down, very active. These guys are nocturnal. They're usually active till about midnight, feeding, and then they go and sleep. So they get active when the sun, late afternoon, when the sun starts to go down, and then they're active until around midnight, and then they'll go and sleep in little dens or burrows next to the river edges. Just on river edges where they feel safe. Okay, so we mentioned earlier that Pygmy hippos are a lot smaller than your normal Nile hippos, up to 10 times smaller than your Nile hippos. All right, there's a few things that make them a little bit different from the Nile hippos. First of all, the size, and then also socially, these guys will usually be solitary. They won't live in groups, unlike your Nile hippos who like to live in groups. The only time you'll have more than one Pygmy hippo together is when it's a breeding pair for just a short period with the breeding, or it's a mom with her calf. All right, so they will usually be alone, where your Nile hippos will be in groups. Okay, then another difference as well is the position of their eyes. So your Nile hippo's eye positioning is more on top of the head, so that they can be pretty much submerged underwater and just have the eyes and the nostrils and the ears sticking out of the water and being able to keep a lookout. Where these guys' eyes are more on the sides of the head. And that is basically to, when they're out in the forests feeding, as they will pretty much have a view of what's going on around them. These guys' main predator is leopards. All right, other than humans, their main predator is leopards. All right, let's have a look, see quickly who's all joining. Marinda, hi. Louisa, hi. Patrick, Sophie, hey. Sophie, one of our ex-volunteers. All right. Manoj, sorry if I pronounce your name wrong, all the way from India. Welcome, thank you for joining us. All right. Okay, so Pygmy hippos, they are classed as endangered. And I said earlier that these are one of my favorite animals as a species on the ranch. And the reason behind that is I love talking about them because there's very few people have ever heard of pygmy hippos, right? 90 to 95% of the people that I come across, of our volunteers, of public that I get to talk to, they've never even heard of a pygmy hippo, all right? And that's quite sad. If you look at their numbers are extremely low. It's estimated that the numbers are around 2 to 2,500. It's not that it's a known number, but that's the current guesstimate. But it is estimated that the numbers are decreasing because of habitat loss, as well as poaching for the bushmeat trade. Habitat loss, they're losing their habitat mainly for commercial farming, palm oil plantations, also rubber tree plantations and coffee plantations, illegal mining, illegal forestry, logging. Those are all taking a toll on their habitat, and the forests which they would live in is getting smaller and smaller and smaller and more fragmented, and that's why their numbers are going down. All right. There's estimate that in the next 26 years the population could decrease by 20%, and that's a huge loss. All right. Okay, let's have a look who else is joining us. Devin, Wita, hi, thanks for joining. Any questions, guys, please feel free to ask. I'll answer them as best as I can. So yeah, like I said, very few people have ever heard of a pygmy hippo. Everybody knows of their bigger cousins, the Nile hippos, but very few people have ever heard of them. And like I said, these guys are endangered and their numbers are very, very low. So they play a very vital role for their family members out in the wild, educating people about them, the problems that they're facing out in the wild. We talk about them on our tours as well a lot. They play a very big role. They're also two very awesome individuals, personality-wise. Herbie's a very big, friendly guy. He's very, very nice. He likes to come and say hi to us when we come into the enclosure. He loves scratches. Hilda, not as friendly, but she also enjoys a good scratch on the stomach every now and then if we come up say hi to her. But Herbie is the friendly one of the two. Very, very gentle as well. All right. Let's see if we've got any questions here. Lily from Switzerland. Thanks for joining. Marianne's asking if they've got big teeth. Yes, they also do have big teeth. Obviously not as big as your Nile hippos, but still very big for their body size. And that again is just for protection. Okay, that's not, these guys do not eat meat. It's not for hunting or anything. That is just for protecting themselves. Okay, they do breed in captivity. Yes, there is a very good stud book for these guys, which basically controls and monitors the numbers and the breeding of the captive animals across the world. So currently in captivity across the world, there's 417 pygmy hippos. All right. In Africa, there is 32 in captivity. That's not a lot. Throughout the whole African continent, there's only 32. And the 417 are kept in about 145 different institutes. So in the past year, the number of pygmy hippos in captivity has gone up from 400 to 417. So that is an increase of 17 individuals from breeding in captivity. All right. Jason's asking, do we need to help them with the sun, being a forest dweller? Not so much. These guys do enjoy the sun, but they do have it's called blood sweat. It's like a secretion from the skin, and it's not blood and it's also not sweat. All right, so it plays quite a vital role for them. It's got antiseptic properties, and it also acts as a sunscreen, okay? And what it's actually called, its scientific name, is hipposudoric acid, and it's got a red pigment. So in your Nile hippos, it gives them it's almost got like, gives them the pink tinge to this, if you look at them. But because it's got that red pigment, that's where the term blood sweat comes from. But with the Pygmy Hippos, it's white. It doesn't have that pink tinge to it. So we don't see that pink coloration on their skin like with the Nile Hippos. But yeah, it's called blood sweat, but it's not blood and it's not sweat either. Lily said she was, yeah, way back in 2018, 2 years ago. She was a WAV. Yes, I do remember you, Lily. Okay, let's see. Roxana is asking how much time do they spend outside of the water. These guys do spend more time outside of the water than they do inside the water compared to your Nile hippos. They're more adapted for living on the land. Like I said, also with their eyes being positioned on the sides of their heads to keep an eye out on what's going on around them on land. Also, their feet are not webbed like your Nile hippos' feet are webbed. All right, so that is... So Patrick is asking, where are our hippos born? Our hippos were born in South Africa at another facility up north. Currently, we also don't breed our hippos. All right, we're not breeding with them. They are getting a little bit older now. Something interesting with Hilda is she's also one of the only hippos, Pygmy hippos on record, the only hippo on Pygmy hippo on record, sorry, to have a phantom pregnancy. And now that's basically something that even can happen with humans, cats, dogs. It's just basically when the body thinks there's a baby, but there is no baby. So she goes full term, she produces milk, but there is no baby inside. So with Hilda, we've actually trained her that we can do sonars on her, different inspections. We can also milk her, and that with being able to do sonars on her, that just helps if there is a phantom pregnancy to be sure that there is no baby inside. All right. Let's see if there's any other questions coming through. All right. Okay. Gerard, hello. Thanks for joining. Royden from Norway. Hope I'm pronouncing your names right, guys. Sorry if I'm not. Okay. Let's see if there's anything else coming through. Okay. Then these guys are sexually mature, usually around 3 to 5 years of age. They can usually start breeding around then. And if a female does fall pregnant, she carries the baby. The gestation period is about 190 to 210 days that she will carry the baby, right? And then if she gives birth, the baby won't follow the mom around. She basically will leave the baby in the water to hide, and then the female will go out and feed and then come back different times during the day, letting the baby suckle, all right? Another interesting fact about them is that their ears and their nostrils have strong muscular valves that close when they go underwater, which then allows them to not get filled up with water. So they close their nostrils and their ears when they go underwater. Okay, Roxana is asking how many years do they live on average? So in captivity, it's anything from 35 to 47 years of age. There is no real record of how long they can live in the wild because it's very difficult to study these guys in the wild. There's very little studies being done on them out in the wild because they are extremely shy animals. They live in very thick forests, so it's very difficult to study them. So the majority of the information that we have on Pygmy hippos comes from their captive lives, the ones that we've got in captivity, all right? So very little about that we know actually about them out in the wild. Okay, Nicolene Parkhazen, thanks for joining. Hi. Yep, Thanks, Jason, for replying on the ages. Okay. Okay, so these guys were also discovered quite late. The first one that was pretty much, you could say they were really discovered in the 1840s. And then the first one that was brought to Europe was in 1873, but unfortunately he didn't survive. And then the first introduction of the Pygmy Hippos into Europe, where they were brought into captivity, was around 1911. All right. The closest living relative to a Pygmy Hippo is actually a whale. A new study has brought out that the closest living relative to hippos, Pygmy hippos, are whales. Very interesting. Okay. Usually these guys stand about 80 centimeters to a meter tall, and the weight's anything up to about 260, 270 kilograms. So these guys, I mentioned earlier that they are poached. That's mainly for the bushmeat trade, all right, for their meat. There's no real value in their teeth, luckily, but with their skulls, the skulls are used in traditional rituals, all right? So they're poached and then the skulls are used for rituals. Okay, let's see. Any other questions? All right, can you guys hear me? Let's see, there's no sound. Somebody mentioned they lost sound. Can you guys all hear me? Just want to make sure. Okay, you guys still got me there? Can you hear me? Just want to quickly check. All right. Okay. All right. Thanks, Patrick. Thanks for letting me know. Okay, guys. Then also there's some folklore that say it's like that Pygmy hippos will carry a diamond in their mouth at night to help them find their way through the forest. And during the day, they hide the diamond because they don't have a use for it. And the folklore says that if you catch a Pygmy hippo at night, you can get the diamond. You will find the diamond. All right. Obviously, that is all just folklore. Okay. There's no truth behind these tales. Herbie does not walk around with a diamond in his mouth. Okay. Some interesting things that I saw a little bit earlier while waiting for the stream to start. Hilda came up to the barrier over there and she made a few grunting noises, and Herbie got up and went over to her, and he dropped his, like, the front quarter of his body and his head very low down and slowly creeped closer to her, almost in a very submissive way. And once he got up to the fence, to the barrier between the two, he was bobbing his head up and down. It's very interesting behavior. I've never actually seen that during the day. So that's pretty cool to see something different that they do, to see these behaviors that they do at night, especially that they're nocturnal. And that's one of the nice things about this After Dark series that we're doing, is that I'm getting to see some things that the animals do at night that I don't expect, especially with us mainly trying to focus on animals that are more active at night, with the Pygmy hippos mainly feeding between up until midnight. So I expect them to be quite active up until then. Once the temperature drops, I do expect they'll also go into the night house. They do love their warm night house that's got underfloor heating for them, so that's pretty luxurious. The night houses are over there, and you'll see it looks like little huts on the top there. I'll explain those in our next live stream, so if you join me at 11 o'clock, I'll explain what those are. And then also, guys, if you join at 11 o'clock, I'll explain to you how to get to our flash sale on tickets that when the ranch opens up again and when the lockdown has been lifted, you guys can come to the ranch and the tickets will go on sale for half price. So it's just your normal tickets, So I'll explain to you guys how to, normal entrance tickets, so I'll explain to you guys how to get to those. So if you do want to come and visit when lockdown ends, obviously we're not sure when that's going to be at this stage, then you can get tickets now at half price, and you can come and see our animals that we're showing you, come and meet these guys up close and personal, and also maybe do some encounters. All right. Okay, let's see if we've got any other messages coming through. All right, so some people are asking about food and what they eat and the favorite foods. All right, so out in the wild, these guys will mainly feed on browse, so leaves, maybe some forest weeds, as well as fruit that has fallen off of trees. All right, so Herbie's coming out of the water now. Oop, don't slip, buddy. Okay, so they also will uproot ferns, eat whole plants, ferns. Ferns tends to be some of their favorites out in the wild from the information that we've seen on recent studies. Also, it's pretty hard to believe, but these guys will stand up and put their feet against a tree stump, for example, a log, and then try and get fruit, low-hanging fruit off of trees as well. All right, I've actually seen Herbie do this to access some hibiscus flowers. We've got a hibiscus tree growing pretty close to where I'll be sleeping tonight, and they do love the hibiscus flowers, and I've actually seen him standing with his front legs up on this little barrier to help him get to the hibiscus flowers. And then another treat that they absolutely love is watermelon. They love watermelon. It's a big treat for them. Obviously, it's a seasonal fruit, so we mainly will get that in summer, not so much now in the winter time, but they love watermelon. Okay. Sumari, one of our ex-colleagues, nice to see you here, welcome. Jolene asking where am I sleeping tonight. Oh, Herbie and Hilda are meeting again. So you just saw Herbie shaking that tail around. Now something that they do that I need to watch out for tonight actually is they will back up against this tree stump or a rock, and then they will do their business. So they'll poop or they'll pee, and and they wag their tail around, shake it from side to side just like that, and then it sprays whatever comes out all over the show. So I'll show you now where I'm sleeping quickly. In there tonight. So there's the barrier. I've got my poo guard over there that I don't get to shower. Yep. And that's where I'm sleeping tonight. Alright, so yeah, that's Hilda just on the other. You see the eyes reflecting the light. That's Hilda coming to say hi to Herbie. Okay. Devin asking how much they weigh on average. Anywhere from 180 to 270. Sorry, I was just watching the behaviors there. It's very interesting to see what these guys do at night, what they get up to. Right, just having a look at any other questions that have come through that I might have missed, guys. Ankia's asking, hi Ankia, one of our colleagues, nice to see you here. She's asking, do they make any distinctive sounds? They do make the same sound as your Nile hippos do. I'm not going to try and make that sound. But yeah, it's best way to describe it, almost sometimes sounds like a wet fart. Sorry for that, but it's a pretty good description. So there Herbie's actually doing the pooping thing with the tail butt up against the rock and wagging the tail backwards and forwards. All right. Narinda's asking, has Herbie's BBC appearance gone to his head? Nah, he's stayed pretty calm, and his head hasn't gotten too big. So interesting story. We had a film crew from BBC come. They were going to do a documentary called Small for a Reason, and focusing on animals that are smaller in size compared to other animals of the same subspecies or species. For example, with these guys are pygmy hippos, and then obviously you get the much larger Nile hippos. And then they filmed Herbie over here, and yeah, it was pretty cool to have them here with us and filming Herbie. That was a couple of years ago already, and time flies. Okay, so with pygmy hippos, there used to be 3 subspecies of pygmy hippo. You used to get the Malagasy pygmy or dwarf hippo, but they have unfortunately gone extinct. And then you also used to have the Nigerian pygmy hippo subspecies. It was called the Heslops pygmy hippo. All right, so a species that you used to find in the Niger Delta in Nigeria. And unfortunately, those guys are also thought now to be extinct. There's been no traces of them for many years, so they're also thought to be extinct. All right, so that's why we've got these guys. We're educating people about these guys to try and get people to learn about them, realize that there's a species out there called the pygmy hippo. You don't only get Nile hippos. And yeah, so that people can learn about problems that they're facing and how we can make small differences in our lives. Buying products that use sustainable palm oil, for example, to help these guys out in the wild. People think that it's only animals and areas in Asia that are affected by palm oil, but even here in Africa it is also a problem. All right. So Devon's asking also if they are fast like the Nile hippos. Yep, they can be pretty quickly, move pretty quickly. Don't let their size fool you. These guys are like a tank with a Ferrari engine. They can move pretty quickly. All right. There's no study that I've been able to come across that's given an exact speed that these guys can run up to, but they can move pretty quickly. Hilda, I've seen her moving very, very fast already in the enclosure. So yep, they can run pretty quick. Okay. Let's see if there's any other questions coming through. Okay. Alright guys, any other questions? Feel free to ask. How much do they sleep? Oh, these guys sleep a lot. They are very, very lazy. So I always talk about our enrichment program as well, where we provide different stimulations for our animals. These guys, it's very difficult to do enrichment with them because they are so lazy. There's very little that actually gets them interested, that gets them active, that gets their attention. Some things that work nicely for them are playing calls of different animals. Herbie, a little while back, we did some really nice where we played lion calls actually, and Herbie was very interested as to where it was coming from. We hid the speaker away and he went straight to where the speaker was, and he was doing a behavior that's a warning behavior towards the direction of the speaker. Is opening the mouth very quickly, opening and closing the mouth very quickly. All right. Oh, and one other difference between these guys and your Nile hippos is that in proportion to their body size, their legs are a lot longer than Nile hippos. All right. So currently, what we feed these guys, Herbie's actually was on his way over to a pile of lucerne that we've got there. All right. So we feed them that. We've got some good quality pellets that we feed them, as well as some different fruits. Some sweet potato, pumpkin, butternut. They do like the watermelon, like I said earlier. These guys are very fussy with greens. We've tried a few different greens which we would also eat, but these guys are very fussy and not big fans of greens, like naughty children. Nikki's asking how old Hilda is. She's 31, right? Okay. Herbie's just came walking past us. I'm going to see if he's going to actually do his little dive. So sometimes what Herbie does is he comes over here to the deeper end of the pool and he actually dives into the water from the deeper end. So he's still got a little bit of a playful nature on him as well. doesn't look like Herbie's going to be diving in now. He did it just before the stream, actually. When I started the stream, he was in the water. He had then just dived in. Oh, maybe. Let's see, yep, here we go. Looks like he's going to do it. Yep, there he goes. All right. Okay. All right, guys. Then Sumi is asking, do we breed them? We have bred with them in the past, yes. One of our famous babies name was Harry. All right, he went viral, Harry the baby hippo. One of our previous colleagues, she was watching on last night's stream, Tony, she worked with him. Unfortunately, Harry got quite sick and he needed surgery, and these guys unfortunately don't do very well under anesthetic, and unfortunately Harry didn't make it. But it was quite a sad story. But yeah, Harry was famous. At that stage, we even had Prince Harry's of the royal family or his girlfriend at the time, Chelsea Davis, that messaged and said that our Harry is cuter than her Harry. So that's pretty cool. Okay, hi Audrey, saying what a beaut. Karika saying it was cool to see him jumping in the water, I'm guessing. Alright. So yeah, currently we are not breeding with them. Hilda is having a bit of a break. Also, like I said, we do keep them separate. If we do put them together and it's not breeding season, Hilda does get pretty grumpy with Herbie if she has access to him. So that's also another reason why we do keep them separate. Alright. Narinda saying 10 out of 10 for the dive. Yep, that was a pretty good dive. Alright, let's see if there's any other comments or questions coming through. Okay guys, so like I mentioned earlier, this is the 4th night of the After Dark series. We've got 3 nights still to go after this. So also a big shout out and thank you to Clifford for joining me earlier tonight in the stream that we did at 6 o'clock. He was my special guest tonight. He is one of our animal caregivers that works with the cheetahs and some of our other animals like our ringtail, our lemurs, black and white rough lemurs, who are also critically endangered. Herbie's gone for a swim. He's just below the water surface at the moment. Right, as well as our serval and some of our other lemurs, as well as some of the animals that we do encounters with, like our snakes, our boa constrictors, and our Argentinian black and white tegus. So yeah, thank you Clifford for joining us. Okay. Alright, so then yeah, like I was also saying, we've got 3 more days to do, and then our event is over. And the reason why we're doing this is obviously the ranch is closed because of the COVID-19 situation, the global pandemic. That means we don't have tourists coming to the ranch, which is what we rely on to survive as the ranch, to keep looking after these animals, to keep providing them with the care that we give them, the high standards of care that we give them. And unfortunately, with the ranch being closed, we do not have that funding coming in. So with this challenge and dare that I'm doing, pretty much sleeping here on the ranch every night with the animals in the cold, that's pretty much just to sacrificing a little bit to try and help get in some donations to help that you guys can help us keep going, keep looking after them. Hope he's getting out of the water again. All right, and we all know that it is a difficult time for everybody across the world, but every little bit does help and it can go a long way. All right, so we do value every single donation that we do get from you guys. All right, so thank you very much to those that have already donated to our cause. We do appreciate it. And then also every day before we do these streams, we do a few dares. Today I made a real fool out of myself, but you must probably see those videos later. But yeah, it's all for a good cause. I don't mind doing it. So yeah. Okay, just looking at comments coming through. Cheryl saying Hilda was 4 years old when she started working at the ranch. Wow, that's quite a while ago. So yeah, she's still with us. So Narinda's saying, how many days have we been closed for now? Wow, it seems like forever. Also lost track of the days. It's pretty much since the whole country went down into lockdown in April, mid-April. Somewhere, I think it was either the 16th or the 23rd of April. We've been closed for, or March, I think. Yep. So yeah, we've been closed all that time, and we're still coming in every day. Those of us that are still here, still performing the duties, looking after these guys, caring for them, and keeping up the bonds with these animals. It's very, very important as well. All right. Sumari is saying she bets the animals miss the people a lot. Yes, that's true. We do see that certain animals' behaviors have changed. They do miss the people, seeing the people, getting that attention from the people. I said it last night as well. Speckles, you do see that she misses that attention from the tours that go past her enclosure. Everybody loves Speckles, our spotted-necked otter. She's quite the character, very cute, and she does like that attention. And you definitely, she misses that attention as well. Laura saying it's the first time she's watching. Yes, we are going to, not tonight to other animals. Tonight is just at the hippos, but each night we are at a different enclosure. So the first enclosure was in our in our Temple of Ancients, where we have Malaysian flying foxes, then and some other animals, Malawian cichlids, blue duiker, Von der Decken's hornbill. Then I slept outside on Lima Island with our ringtail lemurs and our greater flamingos. And then last night I was at our tiger, Taji, for her sweet 16th birthday. Now tonight we're at the Pygmy Hippos. And then I won't give away where we'll be for the next 3 days yet. All right, so Cheryl's saying 41 days to today that we have been closed. Thank you for that info. All right. And Herbie and Hilda are visiting each other again. All right, so it's pretty interesting to see how often they are going to each other now at night. They don't do this in the day at all, but it's pretty cool to see. Like I said, being here at night, you see total different behaviors from a lot of the animals that we've never really seen before, because we're not around at night, so we don't see these behaviors as well. But it's really been cool to be here to see them. All right. Jolene saying it's awesome. Thank you very much. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. Okay. Let's see if there's any other questions that's coming through. Okay, guys. So this has been quite a long stream. It's been really fun watching them and talking to you guys about the Pygmy Hippos. Like I say, I love talking about them because there's so little known about them, and so few people know about Pygmy Hippos, know that this animal exists out there, and it's so important for facilities like ourselves to educate people about them, all right? Because you can't just go on a safari to the countries where these guys occur and go and see them, all right? The guys that study them struggle to see them. So, for example, in Liberia, the first photo ever taken of a Pygmy hippo in the wild was only taken in 2008, and that was taken by the guys that's been trying to study them. So that's crazy. That's not too long ago where the first photo was taken of one of these guys out in the wild. All right, so it's awesome to be able to bring this info to you guys about them, and to spread their message and problems that they face out in the wild. So there is, being here at night as well, obviously there's some strange sounds and some wilder animals that are around us as well, and in this enclosure there's some big palm trees, and there's something definitely in these palm trees, pretty big tonight. I keep hearing it moving around, and they just dropped a seed pretty much onto Herbie, and that's why he was moving his mouth now like that. So they're right above where I'm sleeping tonight, so that will be pretty interesting. All right, Gerard, thank you for that information. I will speak to the marketing department and see what we can arrange. All right, guys, so yep, I'm going to be signing off now. Tune in again at 11 o'clock, where we'll see if they've got up to anything else interesting. And that one won't be as long as this one. I won't keep you guys up too late. And then we will just, if you guys have any more questions, we can chat about that then as well. Also, I will explain how to get to our flash sale of our tickets that are on half price at 11 o'clock. And how to get access to that. And obviously that will be once the ranch opens again, when lockdown is over. So then you guys can join us and come and visit these animals and say hi to them. All right, cool. So that's me for now. I'm going to be saying goodbye and stay safe. Take care of yourselves, guys. And then speak to you guys at 11 o'clock. Hope you enjoyed the stream. It was fun talking to you. Herbie's been awesome, very active. So yeah. All right. Thank you very much, and speak to you later. Cheers.